why did Jonathan lose? So many things, so many challenges that he had, included the fact that there was widespread corruption that eroded confidence. That corruption is still here with us. If you recall, the Boko Haram incident was at its peak then, and there seemed to be no solution. That also eroded public confidence and trust. Today, the same thing is ongoing, in fact, maybe at a wider and larger scale. Let's go back to your question of the attack yesterday. It seems somebody somewhere wants to surely instigate a religious war in Nigeria. Otherwise, I mean, as you know, well, if you kill people in Jos, particularly in those smaller villages inside Jos, you are killing Christians.
Exactly.
But if you go to Sokoto, where the Americans even threw the bomb to in Tambuwal local government or somewhere, if you go there and you are killing Muslims. You get what I mean? But why this is amplified and heightened is so that you instigate the Christian population to rise up. What we must do is to resist this threat to our unity. But that brings me to the fact that government itself is failing its responsibilities. If you had good governance, one of the first, of government is to protect lives and properties of citizens. Is this government, or indeed even our past governments, are they doing that to us? We are taking for granted. That's rather unfortunate. It is a sad event. And I sympathize with all those that lost their with the families of all those that lost their lives. It is not necessary. And you know the problem, Wale? These people will come and kill us, but you never see their own dead body. Because it seems as if the security agents are totally, they are sleeping, so to speak, if I even comatose. Something must be done.
Absolutely. Now, President Tinubu, after the incident, made a public announcement that he commiserates with the families of those slain. He sympathized with the government and people of Plateau State, gave a marching orders to the security agencies to go after perpetrators. I mean, just the usual statements after this sort of event that we have seen or we have heard over and over and over again. Alhaji, my question is, at what point does the president admit failure in the discharge of this onerous constitutional responsibility?
We all know what pass mark is and what failure mark is. And it's for us to decide if the electorate, as we go into the election tomorrow, decide that this government has failed, it will vote them out. If they vote them in, it's to mean that in spite of the problems we now have, we still believe they're good. So it is not for him to come out and admit failure. If you watch the Iran, American, whatever now that's going on, 7, 8 people were killed. Government itself, you saw the vice president, you saw the speaker, you saw government commiserating. Not only commiserating, because when you are commiserating, you also must be seen to be commiserating. These statements are not good enough, in my opinion.
The reference you made now that, I mean, when the first casualties, about 6 U.S. personnel, returned to America, it wasn't the vice president alone, sir. It was the president, Donald Trump, the vice president, Secretary of Defense. All of them were at the tarmac to receive the bodies of these slain officers.
That is how it
should be.
Because immediately you do that,
yes,
the families are assuaged. They feel somebody somewhere recognizes their pain and is identifying with that pain. And that is what we we would want. Because I recall that even during that time, for the election of one of those elections during Goodluck Jonathan to hold, he employed the services of mercenaries. Yes.
South Africa.
What is wrong with that? Why invite Americans into this place? We don't know why they are here. We don't see why they are here. Are they here to fight Muslims? Are they here to fight insurgents? We do not know. We do not look, really, our government should not take us for granted. It's totally unfair, and that's not why we elected them. And it is not only the government at this level, that is the federal level. I'm talking about all governments along the line.
Another point is the governor of Plateau State, Caleb Mutfwang, also came out to address residents of the locality. And then he was seen in an armored personnel carrier, surrounded by a retinue of soldiers and policemen, DSS and all of that, addressing the people. And in his words, promising them that we will secure you, that they should not give in. But he himself was looking insecure, was looking fearful. So the question is that, can the governor guarantee anybody's security when he himself feels insecure?
You see, the optics speaks for itself. You get what I mean? And that is why I'm saying, people believe that politics is an all-comers business. No, it is not. You have to learn the ropes. And if you have learned the ropes good enough, you can know that this armored vehicle can be all over the place, outside that vicinity.
Yes.
Not with you being inside. Doesn't make sense. That's all I can say on that. Doesn't make sense. And it's not about, when I said learn about politics, it's about how you show empathy.
Exactly.
You get what I mean? I also identify the governor's problems. That is, our governors, they are said to be chief security officers without anything to secure. Nothing at their disposal that can guarantee that they can give security. All he can do is say, as he said. I also sympathize with him. But then, Mr. Governor, don't go to sympathize in an armored car. And that also brings me back to the point you made earlier, that our president has given marching orders. But he has always been giving marching orders, including that all policemen should be withdrawn.
Yes.
Every policeman that you know with anybody, including people out of government, are still with them. So why do they not take the president's word for granted? Because I know as a fact that there are no sanctions happening. If I were president and I give my IG, an instruction, first I must have people to be able to, to give me information outside the normal channel, which every government deserves and should have, outside normal channel. You get what I mean? You need to have another cell that can say to you that, sir, this instruction you gave 2 weeks ago is still not attended to. On the basis of which you further investigate and you sanction. If we do not apply sanctions in our system, we are wasting our time.
So, this spate of insecurity all over Nigeria, even though there are different
levels.
At different levels and the different types. But these senseless killings in the north, middle belt, northwest, northeast. Sir, what exactly? Some have said, okay, maybe it's politically motivated. Some have even accused government as being behind it. And then some have, also in your own mind, sir, as an informed Nigerian, elder statesman, what is responsible for this? Why has this become intractable 17 years?
In all my informed Nigeria title you've given me, that is one area I cannot comment. Because I really cannot know. We don't know this issue of killing. But it's a lucrative business now. You go in, sack a village, take 10, 15 people to the bush and request 15 million, request 20 million. So it's become an extremely lucrative thing.
Wow.
You know, kidnapping started in the south.
East.
South.
The south.
Yes.
The south.
In the very beginning, it started with kidnapping some oil company officials. And because of the multimedia now that's ongoing, these other people see it, and they have now even taken it as a real-time profession. So that is it. But I thought that if we had invited the Americans like we already have done, what should happen is that they should, why are you bombing Yabo or somewhere like that in Tambua local government? That's not where they are. They are in the forest around us. There is Sambisa forest. And I'm sure that the American with their instruments can locate, because they have even done that before. So why did they go and throw their missile or whatever they did throw into that village? So what I can call government to do is and this can affect other elections, I hope you know.
Exactly.
Because people are dying, and they suddenly come up with some group of young men and women, call them city boys, city girls, and say they should take food around the place. This is not how it is done. That brings me back to the issue of politics. You don't just jump into it prematurely because your uncle is this or your father is this, so therefore you become. No, it doesn't work like that. And that's why the foods are being rejected or being looted.
Sir, between January and now, March ended, even if today's first, between January this year and March ended, we have lost over 1,000 people to insecurity. All sorts of insecurity, over 1,000 people. If we extrapolate for the end of the year, that is every quarter, that will be 4,000 this year, the number of deaths from insecurity, terrorism, insurgency, battery, and all of that. Can Nigeria afford this level of senseless killings? Can this country afford that, especially opposition politicians? Is this acceptable?
Let me put it like this. I don't know where you got your figures from, and I'm not counting, so I don't rely on your figures. I can tell you.
We have accurate data.
I can't rely on your figures, but I know that when 10 die here, in fact, if in between now and January, between January and now, if 5 people have been killed in Nigeria, I'm not talking about in a state, it is bad enough. Do you understand?
Yes.
In that Iran war, is it not 6 Americans or 7 Americans?
Exactly.
7 that have been killed, and that is putting pressure on the government to even stop the war.
Yes.
We need to do we need to get more boots on the ground, and we need to have the political will and financial will to finance it and go after this thing. Because no development can take place. No investor can come in here except criminal investors who will come to help you mine your gold illegally and steal it. Otherwise, who else can come here? And in any case, most of those areas where you have this high insurgency, I'm not an expert in security, but mining is ongoing there. And the people who are mining are not being kidnapped. Is the villagers. So what's going on? Really, you can ask the question, can we go on like this? We surely cannot go on like this.
What's the solution, sir? Before we end this insecurity,
I am telling you that I told you that solution is political will. Because when the president says, go, you must go. When the president says to you, jump, you want to ask him how high, sir, because you must jump. Seems to me that when the president gives a directive, nobody to help him follow. And like I say, there has to be additional sources of information to help the president, or in fact even the governor. But the governors are even freer because the governors mix. But the president, you can't meet him by accident. You can't meet him without an appointment. That's the presidency. I'm not talking about this president, everyone. So he must have additional cells for information
informal channel of
totally informal, but created by him.
Exactly.
Created by him.
To get
to the exclusion,
information.
To the exclusion of all the...
Yes.
Because the security, I mean, let me give you an instance. When there was that uprising or whatever that time, government, change of government or something, that last, what's it called? Not NSAS now.
Yes.
The one after NSAS.
Okay.
The one that happened, and they arrested children.
Bad governance protests.
Bad governance, whatever. They arrested those children. Security will tell the president, we have arrested the miscreants.
Yes.
They won't say the miscreants include 5-year-olds, 6-year-olds. You know, so he himself will see it like me and you are seeing it in shock. So you needed another source, another level. And that's the role, one of the roles that NOAA plays that people don't even know about.
NOAA?
Yes, NOAA. They do that.
Wow.
But it's also government. So get additional CS. You have CSOs abound all over. You create your own people.
Exactly.
You get what I mean? To tell you what's going on. Otherwise, you will be fed false information on which you will form your basis of your whatever you want to do. If the governors, if the Kaduna Abuja road, Abuja Kaduna road.
Yes.
Has been now over 10 years in the making. And every government will tell the president we have done it. Okay. And I'm sure that he's also been fed the falsehood that they have done it. But you go on that road, even as a passenger, you must end up in hospital for some checkup because the road is in total disrepair. And we have such roads all over Nigeria. Yes. I'm only using the one that I know and I want to use.
I like the way you said, I mean, it's about political will and all of that. And then the president having, an informal channel of getting undiluted information, real information. Does it appear to you, sir, that this president, this particular president, Bola Ahmed Tinubu,
yes,
as it was alleged of the departed President Tinubu, President Buhari, does it seem to you that President Tinubu is actually interested in solving this insecurity problem? Because he's about 3 years now on the saddle.
The truth about it is that every president, including Tinubu, are interested. I can speak on their behalf on that. Every president is interested. The problem is that which I told you. Let me put it like this. Obasanjo is my boss.
Yes.
And indeed, even my friend, because he calls me his friend. So I appreciate it. Yeah. He has told me once that I told her, you have to have various cells of information. Because information itself is key.
Absolutely.
Let me put it like that. We are going to a campaign. I was the Deputy Director General of that campaign 2003. And we scheduled for him and the campaign trail all over Nigeria. But he had a problem in going to Benue. And I met him and said, why are you not going to Benue? He said he's fed with the information that it is unsafe. I said, but in truth, Kaduna was also unsafe. But you went to Kaduna. So why are you not going to Benue? In fact, why are you not even going to commission the water that you people are doing? I want to tell you that there and then, he picked the phone, called me water minister. And it is one of the best campaigns we had there. So, you see, they are the presidents, like I told you before now, you don't meet the president by accident. If the president is going to come to this venue today, you have already scheduled it. All these boys will have to be taken. In fact, he might even bring his own cameraman. That is how presidency works. So it is not about Tinubu, and I'm not making a case for him. God, I mean, it's about all of them. They all have that desire. But What if you are told that we have crushed the enemies in Sokoto, we have crushed this in that, we have crushed this? How do you know it's true? Because you are not a man about the, you can't, if he's coming to visit you, they will clear your house.
Yes.
They will tell you only your wife can sit in that place. And what can you do? That is how the presidency works. You get what I mean? So I think that for him, my advice, more boots on the ground, not the American boots. You get what I mean? That we do not know why they are here. We do like Good Luck did, because Good Luck had the services of those soldiers of fortune and elections held, even in the Boko Haram, and because they came in with their wherewithal, you pay them, they come and do the job for you and get out. It's not to mean that our soldiers or our security are incompetent. No. It's just that they are spread too thin. Take a look at the police, for instance. What is their staff? What is the police strength to govern, to help protect 200 million Nigerians? We have about 300 and something. I'm sure we don't have up to 500,000. But even if we have 500,000, look at how they are being spread around. Government houses. Every government house has about 30 police. That is the house itself. The governor, when he's moving out, has another contingent following him. I haven't come to the presidency yet. You get what I mean? Every local government chairman in Nigeria has following him and in his house. There are 774 in all. If you calculate it, and people like me and you who think we have money in our pocket, in some places, some of the governors have, some of the civilians have more than a contingent of police. So basically, what government must do is to have that strong political will and really go for it. The way you go after your election is the way after you should go after the criminals.
Absolutely.
Because these people are just criminals. You go into a mosque and shoot, and you call yourself a Muslim, you say Allah Akbar, and you shoot. In the mosque, people are praying, and you slaughter. I don't even know where they come from and what is driving them, what is their motive. But then, money can be part of it.